I have to tell you, I really wish I could put you in my headspace right now. It's almost like there's a hedge of protection on my headspace right now because it's the news that is coming out is really, really dark, and we're getting closer to something, and I don't think we're going to like it. The Dow is way down. Japan was almost wiped out, 12.5%. They had to close the trading floor for a while in Japan. And that is happening in Europe and now coming here. We had bad job numbers, lots of layoffs. Intel laid off this morning 15,000 jobs. Looks like Chevron is moving to Texas from California. They just can't take California anymore. And there's riots on the streets of the UK, and I want to get back into this story a little later on in the program, but it's rage bait that is going on, and people are now saying, Elon Musk said this weekend that civil war is inevitable in the UK. But we also have some news. Today, it looks like Iran is planning on attacking Israel. They announced this over the weekend. Speculation was that it would happen sometime today. Remember, it's late in the afternoon in the Middle East now on Monday. And so, usually if things happen, they happen by the time this show is over. It's usually started. So we're watching that closely. Jason Buttrill is with us. He is our chief researcher, also head of watching over all global affairs on the program when it comes to war. He is a former military intelligence and is here to tell us exactly what we're expecting. Let's start with Iran. Eden Pure is having their famous buy one, get one deal on the Thunderstorm air purifiers. No matter how many thunderstorms you buy, you'll get an equal amount for free. There's nothing worse than having odors in your house. Have you ever walked into somebody's house and you're like, oh, wow, you either have a cat or a teenager? Thankfully, you can get rid of any bad smell now when you get the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. Whether it's odor from cooking, cigarettes, litter box, trash cans, or teenagers, it doesn't matter. Thunderstorm will knock it out. It starts working in seconds to clear a room of smells, and you don't ever have to replace a filter. And it doesn't cover the odors. It actually purifies the air. They've sold hundreds of thousands of Thunderstorm units so far, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews online. I want you to go right now to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code BECKBOGO. Jason.
Hey, Glenn, how you doing? I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened yet. We were getting word that it was supposed to kick off sometime over the weekend. I think the biggest takeaway here is that there is going to be a response. Pretty much everyone expects it. It sounds like the Israeli intelligence and military is expecting it very imminently. There's a carrier battle group that's on its way from the U.S. to the region to support if anything should kick off. We know something's going to kick off. The question now is just how badly it's going to. And this is only the beginning, stages of this larger regional war. And I'm going to go ahead and say that. I do believe this is going to be a regional war with multiple countries involved. And it's going to mirror the regional war that's already going on in Eastern Europe. And that sounds kind of interesting, doesn't it, Glenn? Regional wars breaking out everywhere, and we're expected to respond to every single one of them. How's that supposed to happen?
Okay, so the Mediterranean is the 6th Fleet, right?
That sounds correct. I don't remember. But
I think it's the 6th Fleet. I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but what I want to know is this carrier group that's going out in addition to what we usually send in the 6th Fleet? That's always there? Is this a replacement or is this an addition? Because that's a huge addition.
I'm fairly positive, but I'm going to double check that this is in addition to what's already going out there. It's already there.
It's pretty significant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's significant, especially
the whole carrier battle group.
Yeah, and it's especially significant when you think about all the different theaters that we're guarding against right now. And I got to tell you, Glenn, looking at the state of the economy, looking at our adversaries, what they're trying to do with the economy, with organizations like BRICS, they're also the same people that are opposing us in Eastern Europe right now. You've got, can I say it?
And Israel.
And Israel. Can I say it? Cascading protest movements that are going all the way through Europe and heading towards our own doorstep. I mean, yeah, right. Did I read that?
And then
like
what
the Brennan
happens after
Center?
that?
Is that where it was?
Yeah, that's where I think I got it. Yeah, sure. And then after it cascades, it comes to the United States, and all of our enemies look at the West and say, now, now, now. And that's exactly what's happening. If you look at what's happening in the Middle East with the Houthis, those are funded by Iran. But now who's just been spotted on the ground and been announcing that they are providing military advice, at least, that's Russia. Yeah. Russia is now assisting the Houthis. So this is becoming a global war. Whether we like it or not, it will.
Yeah, when everyone that always analyzes this, they always say, "Oh, BRICS will never, dominate the dollar, as the global reserve currency. They'll never do it. They'll never challenge the United States one-on-one. Blah blah. The United States is too powerful." Agreed, one-on-one, but that's not what's being built here. I got to tell you, when I was looking at all this information all together in sum, I kept thinking about, the famous Paul Harvey monologue, if I were the devil, what would I do to make change? And I'm not saying they're the devil, but I am saying that look at everything together and connect all the dots. Who were the players involved in every single theater? Who were the ones? Who were the ones sowing discord that is cascading all over the world? Who were the ones? Look at the places that haven't blown up yet, but are on the cusp of it. You look at Taiwan, you look at North Korea. That BRICS unit is involved in every single one of those. You cannot destroy the United States or defeat her one-on-one. We are too powerful. But taken together with all the different countries that they are building, by the way, and ignite it all at the same time, what happens? I don't know the answer to that because we've never been there, but we're going in that direction. And the people that are running this country are driving us there in a Cadillac.
I will tell you what happens if it's World War II. America wins because World War II, America was united. And we all came together to fight against evil. That will not happen this time. We are too divided. And the government has made so many mistakes. I'm really very concerned about England because England is the Bubba effect. We don't even know the facts, and that's another problem. Yeah. But we don't even know the facts of what really happened that started all of this stuff. They haven't figured out this kid from last week. They still don't know, well, is he Muslim? Is he not Muslim? How is he raised? We don't know any of that. But people are all assuming that this was a Muslim immigrant. It wasn't. He was born in England. He's English. But the facts don't matter anymore because it appears as though the government is lying to the people in Great Britain. And so they've had enough. And then you have outside forces, dare I say it, like Russia again, and the influence of those we have spoken about many times on this program that want the West to collapse and are sowing this really demonic seed in not only England and France and all of Europe, but here in America as well. Unless we get transparency, we're in trouble. Unless somebody stands up and says, you know what, I'm going to open up all the books on this. I mean, the arguments that I'm hearing now, that Kamala is just so great when this whole thing has been undemocratic from the beginning. And nobody's really looking at her record. And everybody is saying, well, Donald Trump, he's a bad guy. Where? On what? On what? I said to somebody this weekend, this is the one time that you can look at a politician, and I think they're all dirty. But I lived in New York City. Pat, you remember this. We used to drive by the Trump apartments and hotels on the East Side Highway. And he was building like 5 of them, and including, digging under the highway. And he built 5 in the same time the city took to build one small building right across the street from them. Mm-hmm. And I would have said to you 6 years ago, 8 years ago, the guy is dirty as hell. He's got to be, because you can't. How is it he can get the unions to do everything he wants them to do? How is it he can build 5 buildings to every one that everybody else builds? Well, I don't know, but he's the most investigated man, I believe, in human history. Mm-hmm. And they've never found anything like that. And nobody will listen. Nobody will listen to that. Nobody will listen and say, they've just been trained Trump bad. And if you're comparing, anyone to Hitler, I mean, Charles Manson could look good. Well, he only killed a few. Yeah, and he's got the Nazi, the swastika carved in his forehead, but he's not telling everybody to hang banners off of every building. Hello? So they give you the worst possible look at somebody, and somebody who actually loves America, and here we stand with everything in open flame. Jason, what are you expecting to happen today, either in England, or do you agree with Elon Musk that he says civil war is inevitable in England?
Well, I mean, you got to think that, what's happening in England, I feel like could be copied in multiple different Western countries because the behavior is exactly the same. You talk about the non-transparency. Let's just look at that for just a second and how that fuels this. If you look on any major mainstream outlet over in Europe or here, all you see is the same headline. Far-right protests or rioters, truth is, based off of misinformation,
misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation from social media.
Right, and then they won't even talk about, the person that did this attack. They'll say, oh, but it's not an immigrant. Well, we know his parents are from Rwanda. Well, we know that. Were they illegal? Did they talk about that at all? Because I guarantee you that the people that are out protesting in the street, the point is exactly the same. Like, this is a crisis of the government's creation.
But I think you are giving too much credit to, look, they can be completely wrong. These people were from Rwanda. Maybe they came there legally and they've been great citizens and their kid is a great citizen. It has nothing to do with them or the kid. This is the frustration of the English people saying, my government is not listening to us. Yeah. That's the Bubba effect. We know he's wrong on that. We know. But that's not the issue. The issue is you've been lying to us for too long. So we'll take care of Bubba. You back off. That's the Bubba effect, and I think that's what's happening.